There's too much out there to take everything serious. Sure, you're going to have your passions and you're going to align with certain things, but pick a few. Don't be serious about everything. You've got to laugh at certain things. You've got to laugh at certain things and be able to take the piss out of certain things as well. There's this balance. Don't be the one that sits in the room laughing at everyone else. Also join in and laugh at and take the mick out of people, but also accept that you can be took the mick out of. That's not English, but you know what I mean. There's this lack of being open, of giving in to, yes, I'm not perfect. Yes, take the mick out of me. Yes, roast me, please. And I think that's why you see these Kevin Hart roasts, you see these Tom Brady roasts and all the previous ones. Why they do so well is because we're craving that. I want to laugh at you. I think it's both sides. The people that are the Kevin Harts, the Tom Brady's who are being roasted, I think it's a sense of, yes, roast me. Yes, I want to be laughed at. And that's good. And I think we need more of it. And to sit down and say, listen, we're going to laugh about this. And it's all in a jokey way. It's all in a light-hearted way. We all know the serious implications of racism, of immigration, of being trans, of being gay, of all the political correct shit. We all know the implications of it, but we're going to sit down. I think that's why you see it in comedy clubs. It's perfect. And you see Netflix specials. Listen, we're going to sit down for an hour or however long, and we're going to laugh at this because we need to laugh at this. We need to sit down and release some of this tension, release some of this stress. And I think a lot of us need it about us, about the things we're thinking about. You know, I once feared about getting things off my chest because people might comment on them, people might laugh at them, they're unrealistic, you're dreaming, kid. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. But that's the point. Get them off your chest and let everyone laugh about them, and then you can get your thing off your chest and we can all laugh together and realize how daft we are. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for watching. Just want to let you know that I also post this on Spotify if you want to give it a listen. Let's say you don't finish watching the video. I also do the best bits on each video on Shorts, TikTok and Instagram, so check the link in the description. But yeah, enjoy. I was thinking this morning and over the past couple of days that sometimes things are a bit too serious. I mean, I'm a sucker for doing that. Obviously, my channel's quite serious, which I'd love to figure out a way to make it less serious, but depends, innit? Depends who you are and what you do. Because I listen to comedians, and I weren't in the best mood yesterday. And listening to comedians on podcasts and chat shit and say funny stuff that gets you laughing, I mean, it just changes everything. For me, it just changes my day. And sometimes I think they're the best people to have opinions on things, to make light of serious things. And I think, especially at this moment in time when there's so much going on that's dramatic and serious and deadly and just so much chaos, I think it really does let comedy thrive. Because I think it's kind of essential that there are people out there that can take the piss out of you. You know, I was listening to this podcast and they were taking the piss out of Stephen Bartlett, calling him a grifter, and it's a hilarious podcast. But it feels wrong to listen to that sort of criticism. But then you're reminded that these are comedians. This is their job. This is their purpose, to make light and find the funny things. And it's like sometimes I get a bit self-critical. Oh, what I'm saying is just daft. It's so serious. It's so sometimes pointless. There's this voice in my head that criticizes myself. And I just listen to these comedians and think they would absolutely rinse me. And absolutely should. I think it's like a key factor in life that we sit and we can laugh at things that we do. I mean, I even sit here and I say, yeah, they would laugh at me. There are people out there that will laugh at me, what I do, what I say, how I am. And it's like, because I would laugh at myself if I saw this. The only difference is I almost feel like I can't help what I do. The fact that I enjoy this, people might say it's a bit cringy what I do, or silly, or pointless. I disagree with what I'm saying. And I agree with it all. But it's just something that, it's like a drug. It's like you can't help doing. For some reason, I get this peacefulness, this fulfillment, this joy from doing this. And it's daft. And we're in a time where something like this is daft. Because, I mean, the word grifter implies no talent and still making it. And it's so strange. You know, you listen to the Tyson Fury, the one where the documenting the lives, and he's talking to his daughter and saying, you know, for me to become famous, for me to earn money, what I've had to do is I've had to box my full life. I've had to get punched in the face, and you just want to sit on TikTok and do funny dances or whatever, you know, do pointless crap and become famous and get all that money. It's like, no, you've got to go out and you've got to work hard. And that was the standard. But nowadays you can be an influencer, you can go on Love Island and come off and be famous. You can get famous for ridiculous things. Jesus, my girlfriend sent me a video of some fella on TikTok who picks an item to eat, let's say a cheesecake, that's the one she showed me. I'm going to eat this in 4 bites. And he's getting millions, hundreds of thousands of views. It's entertainment and it's daft and it's silly. And it really goes to show that there is no blueprint. There is no, this is how I'm going to make it. This is what we have to do now to make money. We have to graft. We have to get a skill. We have to get a trade. It's all up in the air. No one knows. You know, you can, it's almost pot luck. It's almost fluke in it. But it's mainly go do what you love, go do what you're interested in, and see if anything becomes of it. And if nothing does, have you at least got the joy and the fulfillment from it? And I think something like comedians in this time, it's essential because you need those people to ground you. You need those people to set you in reality and laugh about what's going on, because we do take everything so fucking serious. And sometimes you've got to be reminded that you need to step out and step back and relax and chill out. And it's not all so deep. It's not all so serious. Let's lighten things up. You can have the piss taken out of you without having a hissy fit, without crumbling. And I was watching these debates this morning, these clips. And again, they're just clips, so they're not the full thing, so I don't know the full vibe. But they were debating on immigration and certain different topics that are sensitive. And I looked at the debate and them arguing with each other. And I sit back and I go, but at the end of this, obviously I not watched the full thing, but at the end of this, do you come to a shared thought? Do you come to a realization, to an understanding of each other's position? And I don't think that happens in a lot of debates, because it's debating. The other person isn't trying to understand the other person's perspective. They're trying to argue it. They're trying to defeat them. They're trying to win. And what happens with that is they both come out the end of it and they're exactly where they started. They've got to say their opinion, which is obviously a valuable thing. But if their aim is to get a solution, if their aim is to figure this out, it's not how it's working. You know, you've got one Pakistani arguing with a white British person on culture. And it's like, there's not a debate here. There's not this person's going to win. You are just sharing your perspectives, sharing and trying to get the other person to understand your situation. If one person doesn't want immigration and one person saying it's essential, we know that that's the debate. But how much can you express yourself where you give the other person or the audience an understanding of how you feel, of how your culture feels, what the realities are, what the truths are, what the negatives are, and accept that yes, these are the negatives, but these don't represent everything else. Just like you talk about British culture, we're racists. It's like, well, there are racists, but we're not all racist. And it's a case. And I see these debates, they're a bit too serious, which sometimes you need it, don't get me wrong. I mean, you look at Donald Trump, maybe he could be a bit more serious. Maybe he could be a little bit more like this standard president that you might see, the person in charge that you usually see, who isn't doing wild shit. And when people criticize, and don't get me wrong, I'll criticize. I do criticize. I'll always criticize. It's human nature. But for there to be an understanding that there is this balance of a comedian and a debater, you need both. Even if it's two idiots chatting to each other about nonsense, about crap, but are you laughing? I was listening to him yesterday and I was absolutely crying. I'm trying to work and I'm there laughing my head off. And they're saying stupid shit. But something like that is essential. Got me out of that mood. Got me away from those problems to come back and reset. And when you've got these comedians that say these things that are shocking and wrong. You know, I was watching Tony Hinchcliffe's special. And it's like, the more you push against what he's doing, the offensive comedy, the more you push against it, the funnier it is. So even from the side that's trying to prevent what he's doing, it's like you're just creating it more. And it's, from an outer perspective, it's funny to see. And it's all part of that group. And if these people that were pushing against it realised how funny it was that they were pushing against it, they might be able to laugh too. And I think about when everything's all said and done with life, and we look back from wherever we go, and I wonder if we do laugh at what everything is. You know, listen to these scientists talk about the universe and how big it is, and you zoom in on your life and think it's so critical, think it's so important, think our culture and society is so important. I think I was listening to one talk about you could get them if you the dot of an eye on a page, you could fit 1 million suns into that, and that's the perspective of the universe. I could be wrong, it was something like that. And the gist is that we're so small, we're so irrelevant that it's funny that we're this ape that's matured, that's evolved into this, and we've got so much conflict going on. We've got all these weird quirks about our cultures, conspiracies. We believe UFOs exist, ghosts exist. And on the same page, you've got people who are born a man and think they're a woman. And you've got people that take the piss out of that, and people who get offended about that. And then you've got people who treat others wrongly just because of the colour of the skin. And you've got people who make fun of that. And you've got the different cultures that come together and compare and take the piss out of white people don't have a culture. I saw a video of this woman in a British museum, and it was all Egyptian and Indian, and American sort of valuable artifacts, and there was nothing British. And it's like, well, yeah, because we conquered the world and we took everything off everyone else and made it our culture. That's kind of our culture. And there's so much that goes into being human that you do just have to accept and laugh at things sometimes. And if you can't laugh, something's going on. You've not got the right perspective. You're too serious. There's a point of, yes, we need to be serious. And then there's a point of being too serious. And if you find yourself being insulted, being stressed too much about an idea, it's probably because you're being too serious. And I think sometimes in our own life, we can take that and we can use that. And we can take that and we can use that and we can improve our life. I think as humans, we've got too many insecurities that it affects everything. Because we in a sense, we think we're so special. And I don't think social media helps that, because you can get people, like I said, who haven't got a skill, who haven't done anything, can become famous. And it makes you believe and gives you too much confidence that you can be someone just out of luck, just out of, like I say, like me, just out of being yourself. Obviously, I'm set, I think, a bit more in reality to understand that this is probably never gonna become successful, but that's okay, because I've got a foundation of joy, of pleasure, of fulfillment from this. Like I said, I almost feel like I can't help doing this. It improves my life for some weird unknown reason. And if I thought too deeply about it, I'd probably get myself caught up in this headspace. Jesus, my ego could go inflated. Could think I'm godly or whatever. I've got a purpose. God chose me, or whatever people think. But if I just laugh and say, it is what it is, people can laugh at me for doing it, that's completely fine, because I get it. There's this relaxation about it. There's this giving in to being laughed at that I think a lot of us need. It's a skill we need to learn. A lot of people get bullied in high school, or bullied when they're younger, or have these experiences that traumatize them. And I think as a child, as a younger person, you can't cope with it. And you gain a coping mechanism that is incorrect because it's for that time. But as an adult, you should be able to be laughed at. You should be able to accept people taking the piss out of you. When you go into a trade, when you've got a family or a person like that in your family who grows up in a trade on a building site where everyone's taking the piss out of each other, they're the most resilient people. They're the most, I don't know the word for it, but they don't get affected by words. They laugh along with it. And I think society needs a little bit more of that. It's difficult because, like I said, there is so much tragedy and so much sort of awfulness that's happening around the world that it is difficult to start laughing at wars and to start laughing at people in power that really do affect you. I think it's a case, like I said, there's a balance. Some people need to be the people that take the piss out of everyone. Some people need to be the people that sit down and debate. And I think I've seen quite a lot of videos of, say, people taking the piss out of Stephen Bartlett. And I think we forget each person can be themselves, can be an individual, can be who they want to be. And letting people be who they want to be as long as they're open to being took the piss out of. If a man wants to be a woman or a woman wants to be a man, that's fine. But toughen up a bit. Be a bit resilient. When someone doesn't call you the right pronoun, don't pull a hissy fit. If that was the case, if people didn't pull a hissy fit at certain things, not just that one scenario, something a little bit lighter, if you didn't pull a hissy fit, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. If you accepted that it's just someone else's opinion and not facts, not physics, not this dead-end thing that we have to die on our sword to protect, I think we can connect more. I think that's the issue with social media. In one way, it connects everyone together, because I can see this person across the world. I can see this person I never thought I'd hear about, these ideas. But on the other side of that coin, we're more disconnected than ever, because there's so much debating. There's so many people that aren't allowed or willing to laugh at things and take things too serious. There's too much out there to take everything serious. Sure, you're going to have your passions and you're going to align with certain things, but pick a few. Don't be serious about everything. You've got to laugh at certain things. You've got to laugh at certain things and be able to take the piss out of certain things as well. There's this balance. Don't be the one that sits in the room laughing at everyone else. Also join in and laugh at and take the mick out of people, but also accept that you can be took the mick out of. That's not English, but you know what I mean. There's this lack of being open, of giving in to, yes, I'm not perfect. Yes, take the mick out of me. Yes, roast me, please. And I think that's why you see these Kevin Hart roasts, you see these Tom Brady roasts and all the previous ones. Why they do so well is because we're craving that. I want to laugh at you. I think it's both sides. The people that are the Kevin Harts, the Tom Brady's who are being roasted, I think it's a sense of, yes, roast me. Yes, I want to be laughed at. And that's good. And I think we need more of it. And to sit down and say, listen, we're going to laugh about this. And it's all in a jokey way. It's all in a light-hearted way. We all know the serious implications of racism, of immigration, of being trans, of being gay, of all the political correct shit. We all know the implications of it. But we're going to sit down. I think that's why you see it in comedy clubs. It's perfect. And you see Netflix specials. Listen, we're going to sit down for an hour or however long, and we're going to laugh at this, because we need to laugh at this. We need to sit down and release some of this tension, release some of this stress. And I think a lot of us need it about us, about the things we're thinking about. You know, I once feared about getting things off my chest because people might comment on them. People might laugh at them. They're unrealistic. You're dreaming, kid. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. But that's the point. Get them off your chest and let everyone laugh about them. And then you can get your thing off your chest and we can all laugh together and realize how daft we are. But yeah. Anyway, peace.